In this video, you're gonna learn how I create a financial forecast for contractors. Hey everybody, I'm Mike Claudio, owner of WinRate Consulting and host of the Big Stud Sales Podcast. Understanding your numbers is one of the biggest reasons companies either win or lose. And I see this happen a lot where people they base the success of their business based on what does the bank account look like. And that is a very, very dangerous way to run your business. Might you be successful for a period of time? Yes. Might you say, Mike, I've been good for 5 years? Sure, but the minute some instability happens or the minute you make one mistake and you're basing it on the bank account, you're gonna pay too many bills, a bill's gonna show up you're not gonna have money for, and you're gonna be in a lot of trouble. So what I'm gonna review with you today is a financial forecast Excel spreadsheet that I created to kind of give you some of the key things that you need to be tracking to make sure that you have control over the financials of your business. So there's two main parts to this spreadsheet. At the top here, you're gonna have your expenses, the expenses you'll see in blue. What I do here is I list out specific expenses I've had for the business, like website, insurance, attorney fees, excavator rental in this case. And then I also add in specific jobs. This is where I use job numbers and address just to keep up with things on a consistent basis so everybody knows what information needs to go where. So if you're not using some sort of a CRM or job tracking system right now, it's very important. But then even for jobs like this, specifically jobs that are coming up, I'll have the anticipated expense per month. Some of this is anticipated. Until I get to that point, these are assumed values. So in this case, if you look at this Montrose job, the expected was 486 was in July. That was an exact, that was for the permit. In August, the 10,000 is expected job expenses that are gonna come between dump fees and trucks and all the other stuff. So that's an anticipated. Yes, that might be change later, but I want to have a good understanding of what it's going to look like. So I don't care if you're doing 50 jobs, they can all be in here and you can put in there, like, when are you going to be paying the subs that you have? When are you going to be paying suppliers? When are you going to be paying your people, right? You could have a payroll line in here. You could have commission line in here for commission people, whatever it is, this is your expense side. Down here in the green is your revenue. Green for money, I don't know, that's why I've always done it. Here's gonna be your job list on the left and then your anticipated income level, right? So in this case, you'll see these two jobs are gonna pay out in August and this one's gonna be September. So I can look ahead and understand what is coming in, what is anticipated going out, because it's those little things that'll get you, those expenses that aren't per job, they're more overhead. That's when you end up getting in trouble. So what I do is I take those two reports and down here you'll see monthly income. What this number here is the amount of expenses subtracted from the amount of revenue gives me that number. And I even take it a step further and I have anticipated bank account balance, because I want to be able to forecast ahead of time to say, if this is how much is coming in and this is how much is going out, well, you'll see here, these last 3 months of the year are negative because I haven't sold jobs out that far yet, but I'll know that I have enough money in the bank account in order to cover those expenses. That's a big thing that I think people miss. They're not forecasting into months they don't have work for yet, but there's a lot of your expenses that don't go away. So not only do I have what my monthly revenue will be, which is expense, or basically revenue minus expenses for that anticipated month, but then what will the bank account look like as part of that? Again, a lot of these are assumptions. Until it comes to fruition, you can put accurate numbers into here, but you should have a good understanding, which is also important, knowing how you price things. Do you know what things are going to cost you? So I go as far to even add this additional report, and I think this is one where a lot of people struggle understanding. If I say, hey, what's your net or what's your gross profit margin? People generally don't understand that. Or what's your net profit margin? People typically don't understand that. So what this report right here is, this is strictly jobs. This is not including overhead, like some of the expenses that you'll see up here that are general business, right? Insurance, attorney, excavator rental, those are not job specific. But this yellow report over here gives me my per job gross profit margin. So what I do is I take the anticipated revenue, subtract the anticipated expenses or actual expenses. So you'll see right here, this is the revenue, the anticipated expenses, the amount of profit, and the percentage of profit margin that it is. Most of these right now are, and I'll be honest, are coming up. They're in August of this month. of this year, 2020. So some of these expenses are not actualized yet. Some of them are. But ultimately, this is how I go about understanding what is my gross profit margin. For most people in the industry, you want to be 35 to 50%. These are a little high because I don't think I have all the expenses accounted for right now, to be honest with you. We took some assumptions on some of these jobs. But at the end of the day, I'll be able to go add expenses into the blues up here for this job. So in August for that project, I'll be able to make it exact, and maybe some expenses might fold over into September. But then it'll automatically calculate as I adjust the blue part of this spreadsheet. The green part is the same. As I add income, like let's say you have draws coming up. You might say, I know in September, October, and December is when that client's gonna owe me money. Well, let me just go ahead and put it in there. When it happens might change, but you'll be able to understand what your gross profit margin is. Like I said, that does not include overhead and expenses that are not job specific, but in general, it gives me a good understanding of kind of how we're pricing jobs and are we profitable or not. Down here is a pretty straightforward thing. I use this right here. As a business owner, you have employees sometimes that pay for things personally, or you have the owner as yourself pay for things personally as you need to. Right here, I just keep track of reimbursable expenses. This will be what job it was for, what the amount, and whatever the date paid back was. That way I can track it for everybody. It's a good thing just to keep that organized, so not only yourself but the employee or your operator, your controller can understand, okay, who needs to be paid back what on what jobs. Because my personal opinion is, if it's a personal expense on a job, that should be paid back when that job is paid in full. So some of those might happen or might take a little longer to pay back, but my general expectation on that is when that job is completed and all of the revenue has been collected, that's when we'll pay back personal expenses. It's just an easy way to make sure you're not dishing out more money than you have coming in. It does hurt on the employee side if they have to wait a little bit longer to collect that money, but as honest as I can be, the financial health of the business is incredibly more important than the financial health of that person. I'm not having people spending $50,000 on expenses. It's typically a few hundred there, a few hundred here. But overall, this is how I build a financial forecast so I can keep up with what are upcoming expenses, what is my forecasted income and revenue, and what does that look like from a monthly revenue for the business, as well as what is the health of my bank account going to be. So it's a great way for you to go out, build this out. If you're interested in getting this report, I'm happy to send it to you. Shoot me an email, mike@winrateconsulting.com. I'll send you this. If you're interested, I can even walk through it with you. But ultimately, I love that you guys are here. I'd love for you to subscribe, click the bell, make sure you're alerted when the next video comes out, and continue to win fast and win often.